Yeah. So I want to speak to one of the things you were talking about, how you do have the wait list. And I want to tell you guys from a business coach perspective, and this is just kind of just going to be a little snippet of the type of information you're going to get because Anita, you're joining our membership, right?
I just did it. I just
Yay. Okay. So welcome. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you.
But part of what we do is we really help develop even more, right? And one of the things I'll encourage and get you thinking about is a big mistake owners make is because they think now, well, I have a wait list. I don't need to advertise. But you always want to be thinking 5 years in advance, okay? Just because you have a wait list today doesn't mean you stop. You want to make sure you have a wait list 5 years from now, so you got to keep it going. The other thing you said is that you can become selective. I'm actually going to call on Tiffany to speak a little bit to you about that, because Tiffany is one of my clients. And she has grown leaps and bounds since becoming a member of Child Care Business Professionals, to the point that she's in a new building. She's expanded her facility. But not only has she done that, but now she interviews families and selects who gets to be in her program. So Tiffany, do you want to speak to that a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. And it's funny that you called right after what she said, because I didn't think 5 years. I was complacent, I was comfortable, I was happy where I was, I didn't think about growth. And then an opportunity presented itself that it was just too good to pass up. And so then it's like, oh, I need to market. I've never marketed in 13 years. And it's like, so definitely do that, because you don't know what's coming. But we were at 80 children, licensed for 80. We are now licensed for 220. And so we wanted to make sure that we did not change the culture of our program with that type of large enrollment. And so we started a 4-step process. We send when they call for inquiries on the program, then we send them an email with the presentation of our program. And then they complete a survey. We go through the surveys and ask different questions about what their goals are, why they looked to us, why they chose us. If it was just for convenience, that's not a family that I'm looking for. I want a family that knows who we are and what we're about, that it's not just because they live up the road. We want to make sure that we are on the same page as far as how we manage the classroom and things like that. So that's things that we talk about in the interview, to make sure that they understand how we run the program, and that it's not going to be a constant battle. I wanted to make sure that I can concentrate on our children and our program, and not constant nitpicking and battling with parents because they want it done one way and we do it a different way. We need to all be on the same page so that we can be the best team for a child that's here.
Yeah. So Tiffany, how, as a member of Child Care Business Professionals, how have we helped you in this process of going from the 80 children to over 200?
I definitely think comfort with staff. I think most directors would agree that the hardest part of the job is not the children. The hardest part of the job is the staffing, and there is so many tools. A lot of the tools were covered this week: the organizational chart and the DELPS. Some of the things that didn't get touched on that are still in there. Something that's sitting on my desk is like the task and event sheet, to where you break down your monthly, you are able to task it out and delegate those things out. A lot of the planning tools, so many tools that we've been able to implement that made our staffing and our core team we already had. I felt comfortable making that job. I felt comfortable bringing in new staff because I was so comfortable and so trusting in the staff that we had because of all these things in place. One of the things that we have not accomplished yet, and we're working really hard, the move kind of changed a lot of our SOPs. So establishing all of the SOPs, and I know that would be huge on accountability.
Yes. And it is huge. It is such a huge difference. So Vanessa, you have a question I want to address. Do any of your teacher supervisors have their own classroom, or is that their sole role? That is not their sole role. They are all in classrooms. Every one of my teachers are in a classroom. So my biggest goal when it came to creating that hierarchy was not to increase my payroll, because payroll can be something that is, it can make or break you, right? So I wanted to make sure I did not increase my payroll. So one of the things I'm going to do for you guys today is I'm going to show you a sample of my what my jobs descriptions do look like, and kind of give you an idea of how this works. Okay, really quick. So one of the things, we've got like the tasks, right, where you always see those tasks. Then we have weekly tasks, we have monthly tasks, quarterly tasks, annual tasks, and then performance indicators. Performance indicators are what I'm actually rating and doing my reviews based on, and evaluations. Then I've got my assistant director's responsibilities. But for anybody underneath the director, I also have these annual calendars that actually assign to them when everything has to be due to me. Everybody has these done, right? And so that is where it's extremely, and if you look at like September, let me go back. Audit children's files. We do auditing children's files 3 times a year. So we're never chasing. When it comes time to be ready for our licensing, we don't have to worry. We're always licensing ready.
I like that
We
it
don't
says
have
no.
those frenzies that so many other centers have, because we're done. So we have like our Thanksgiving feast planning, all those things. If we go back to a month like, let's see, Valentine's Day party signups, we have all of this. So everybody knows when these things are due. So the infant toddler supervisors' responsibilities are right here. They also see, there's not a whole lot more that they're in charge of, but they have their monthly calendars as well. Here's the other supervisor and what they're in charge of, and they've got their monthly calendar. So the main thing is that they're just overseeing things. Now they do also have their job descriptions. So they have what I just showed you, and on top of that, they have their job descriptions, right? Then the calendars, though, are a game changer as well. So Vanessa, what we're doing is we're really just organizing their jobs. We're not so much giving them some more responsibility as we're just helping them to organize. Because I can guarantee you, every one of your teachers has time. They do. Directors have time, assistant directors have time, our teachers have time. The problem isn't that they don't have any time. The problem is that the time isn't organized. It's not well managed. So if you guys join our membership, the first module I have you go through is going to be time management. And the reason I do that is because I know in order for you to be successful, you've got to find the time. And most of you don't know how. Honestly, it's really just it comes down to the fact, you guys, that we just don't know how. I was there, I've been there, done that. I was in the same boat, which is when I realized I got to learn how to do this stuff. I have horrible time management naturally. If I let my natural self be in control, my time management is horrible. So I had to get techniques to get that under control. But as I was going through this journey for myself, I realized that most people have horrible time management. We really don't know how. And we look at people who are really super successful in life, right? And we wonder, how on earth do they do it? And they basically just have good time management. That's it. They have good time management. Like I read, again, earlier this week, I mentioned Ed Milet's book that I read, and he talks about how his days are compartmentalized into like 3 days. And as I was reading that, I realized, oh my goodness, mine are too. My days are literally compartmentalized so that like my typical day is like a 3-day day to one of you guys, right? And it's not that I spend more time working, it's the way I've organized my days. Like now I'm teaching you guys, I'm on the West Coast, so it's only 1:20. As soon as I'm done here, I'll go into my childcare center and help close, right? So the first part of my day is my morning routine. And I cannot stress to you, as leaders, I'm actually going to be training a series on morning routines, because your morning routine will make and break you. It will make and break you. I guarantee it. It sets the whole precedence for your day, right? How your children behave, your own children behave, to how you behave, to how your spouse behaves. So my morning routine is like the first day, and I take a 4-hour morning routine because it's that important. Highly successful people have a very dialed in morning routine that primes them for their entire day. I know for me personally, between all the companies I run, I am juggling over $1 million a year worth of revenue, and all the staff and all the families. I'm building a brand new center. Actually, when I get off of here, I have to go straight to meet with some contractors for a building I'm putting together, right? There is no way I could do my jobs and show up as the person I am if I didn't have a solid morning routine, right? So that's like day one for me. Day two is my childcare business professional's job. I record my podcast, I do all these things, whatever I have to do. As soon as I'm done there, I go into my day three, which is zooing around my preschool. I go over there and I work. So it's literally like compartmentalizing, but I'm done by 6 p.m. every day. And sometimes I'm done even earlier than that. I'm done by 5 sometimes, and I'm done. I can tell you guys, self-care is so important to me. And I've hinted a little bit, but I feel like God is leading me today to tell you. But my whole life, everything I do is led by what God tells me I have to do, right? What I teach you guys, I literally pray. We prayed as a team right before we came on. I'm like, okay, God, someone needs to hear something today. What are you trying to tell me to say? And I literally just basically try to act as his mouthpiece, my podcast, all of it, right? And the biggest thing I think that God is leading me right now to teach you leaders is to stop thinking you have to do more, because you don't. You don't. To stop thinking you have to do it all, right? I've got this huge conviction lately where society tells you that in order to be successful, you have to grind, right? It's in the grind. It's how hard you're willing to work. It's get up early with the dawn, go to bed late, to be the first one up, last one in bed, and work all the way in between, okay? I sit here today, a person who has a neurological disease because I lived that life too long. And ironically, when I decided to slow down, I became more successful than when I was working myself to death. I did it. I worked 70 plus hours a week for a long time. And now I get to live with a disease that is in my brain forever because of that. It doesn't have to be that way. My company's culture is very laid back. My girls, they get mental health days in both my childcare center and in this company. They get monthly mental health days off. We take a week off every July and a week off every Christmas as a company in order to sustain my girls' mental health. Mental health, you guys, I cannot even begin to tell you how important it is to your success. Okay, and that's why all of you who signed up to be in an overwhelm course. This is a course on being overwhelmed, right? And every single one of you felt some kind of desperation. I know, because I still do it to myself. I'm a workaholic, but unfortunately, I'm a recovering workaholic, right? I'm a recovering perfectionist, and I'm a recovering workaholic. Those, I'm sure you guys are the same. Those of you who came and decided to do this training series with us, because there's a feeling of desperation that comes with it, because you know you can't keep it up. It's not healthy, right? Sophie, I'll talk to you about the mental health days without being considered PTO or time off. Yeah, we'll talk about that. So you guys you can't keep it up. I know some of you think you can, but I guarantee you can't. And that's why you signed up for a course on overwhelm. But when you put these things into place and you start really learning these business systems, systems, you'll learn that you don't have to work so hard. You really don't. And honestly, the less you work, and when you are more mentally healthy, you will actually produce better quality and more work. And I had to learn that the hard way, which is why God, I think, has called me to teach you guys. I actually really just work a 3-week month now. And when I was working myself into the ground, I was not coming up with the best quality work, right? But then my doctor basically came to me and told me, I can't sustain this. I literally have a brain injury from what I've gone through, and told me I need to start working a 3-week month and take a week off every month. Can you imagine that prescription? I got a prescription to take a week off every month. When I leaned into that and finally accepted it, because I wasn't producing and I was dropping the ball all over the place, I was making huge mistakes. I was dropping the ball. I was really failing as a CEO. I finally just gave in and I was like, okay, fine. I'm going to take this. And I'll tell you, I did it kicking and screaming. I still do it kicking and screaming, but my staff holds me accountable. And when I did, though, and I came back from that first week, suddenly I could focus again and I could work. So let me ask you guys, how many of you guys have a really hard time focusing? And you can tell me in the chat or raise your hands. Yeah, I see hands going up. How many of you guys, and I'm going to change my view so I can see more of you guys. If you want to even just like put in the chat, raise your hand, give me an emoji, are having a hard time where it's like you start something, but you just can't seem to get it done. You just can't seem to finish, right? How many of you guys have actually wondered if you're ADHD? Have you had that thought where it's like, oh my gosh, maybe I have ADHD? I just can't seem to follow through with anything. Yes, right? Did you guys know that that is actually a residual effect of trauma? How many of you knew that? And overworking yourself? And did you know that overworking is actually a residual effect of trauma? Yeah, Sophie, it's actually a symptom of trauma. Yeah. And sometimes the trauma is caused by your job, right? But I'm here to tell you guys, and someone really needs to hear this. You're doing it to yourself. It doesn't have to be this way. And as someone who was called to help people with their mental health and business, God basically told me, okay, you're going to help people's brains and their businesses. You're going to show them how to take care of themselves and be prosperous, right? I can tell you it's not necessary. You don't have to work yourself into the bone. If you're having a hard time getting things done because you can't concentrate, like me, you guys, I'll tell you, and any of you, let me know if this is you. I go to get my work done, right? I sit at my computer, and this was me before I started taking the vacation times that I needed. I sit at my computer, I start working on this task, and I'm getting my task done. And then I think to myself, oh, but zooming around needs this. So I open a new tab or a new Microsoft Word document or a new Excel spreadsheet, and I start working on that. And then oh my gosh, but Christina asked me to get this done. Then I open a new spreadsheet and I start working on that. And then Lisa needed me to review all those files that she reviewed. Oh, I better go check my email. And now I go work on that. And then my dogs or something else will come up, right? And then I come back and I look at my computer and I literally have like 8 windows open, 12 tabs on my internet. All of these projects started, but nothing is finished. And let me tell you, when it comes to like planning and organization, and it comes to like just getting a plan in place, I'm your girl. Okay, you guys have seen my calendars and all those things that I create. I create systems and systems and systems and systems, right? I am your girl for that stuff, but I'm still not getting the stuff done. And so I just kind of started asking myself, and I'm like, okay, I just need to get better organization. I just need to get better organized. So I took my necessity, needs, and nice. I took all the tasks I need to do, and I did what I did my necessity, needs, and nice. I'm still not getting anything done. What the heck is going on? What is going on? I must have ADHD. Something else is going on. I just can't concentrate. Or I'll sit at my computer and okay, I got to get, and I stare at my screen and I can't get my brain to figure it out, right? Well, that's what was happening to me. And since I do have a neurological disease, I went to my doctor and I just was like, help, something's going on. I just can't concentrate. I can't get things done. I have 1,000 tasks started and nothing is complete. I get everything started. It's getting it completed. That's the problem, right? So that's when my doctor told me this has nothing to do with your narcolepsy. It has nothing to do with it. This is something totally different. And that's when he told me I have to start taking a week off every month. And he basically explained to me that the trauma from overworking a lot of times, your brain gets stuck in this cycle. You literally, I mean, if I'm going to get technical, your cortisol levels are just running through your brain and you never have that calm feeling, right? And when that happens, we can't concentrate. So the easiest way I like to talk about, to explain it, is back to over here in the back of your head is your caveman brain, right? It's your fight or flight. It's the brain that when cavemen were on Earth, we used to survive. Up here, your frontal lobe is where you want to be. It's where we want to think. That's where your reasoning skills, your problem solving is. The problem is when we're in that frenzy and you feel that desperation of overwhelm, you're stuck in your amygdala, which is your caveman brain. We're stuck back here. And your caveman brain is trying to protect you, right? But it's not the brain. It's not the intelligent part of your brain. It's the part of your brain that is fight or flight and trying to make you survive. So if you are stuck in that fight or flight, if you're stuck in survival mode, you can't get anything done. And the reason that's happening is because you're exhausted. You're just too tired. It doesn't matter how much you sleep. You're just too tired. You can't. This was really hard for me to accept. So the way it was explained to me, that was really helpful, because I was also training for a marathon. And my doctor told me, he said, Evelyn, if you go and you run and run and run until your muscles experience atrophy, are you going to really force them to keep going? If you break your ankle, which now I have a broken foot, right? Are you going to force yourself to keep going? Of course not. I'm going to give it time to rest and heal. Well, our brains are no different. They need time to rest and heal too. But we don't treat our brain like it's a muscle. Instead, we keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. The problem is it can only be pushed so far before it just can't anymore. It just can't, right? And that's when we end up in that ADHD type of mode where our brains pretty much manifest it because of what we're going through. Let's see. Yeah, I'm looking at your guys' comments. How do we give mental health days or without being considered PTO or earned time? So we just incorporated that. And I think, Sophie, you're one of the members, so I think Lisa can help you with that one. I'll let Lisa deal with that with you. And I'm sorry, you guys, I have a fly that's driving me crazy. So Lisa, maybe you can help Sophie with that later. Sophie is one of our members, so she could probably speak on that later to you. But it isn't part of our mental health. We just schedule everybody an extra day that's not considered part of our mental health. But yeah, so many of you, I know so many of you guys are in the same boat, because I know what it's like to be a leader of a childcare center before you understand the business practice, right? Before you get to that point where you understand how to put these things in place, you are running that frenzied race. Okay, so I get that, and that's why I know this is what you're going through. I don't even need to speak to you to know that's what you're going through, because I've been there, I've done that. But that's why I also want to help you guys learn these business practices, because once you have this in place and you really put this into your center, you don't have to be running that frenzy. Do you know, my director currently, the other thing I also would like to speak to for you owners out there who are working with directors is watch them, because my director is a workaholic. And she got to the point where she is mentally exhausted too. She worked all through COVID, never took any time off. We never closed. We stayed open for our essential workers. And it was hard. I mean, you guys know it was hard. It was so hard, especially if you didn't close. I cannot even begin to tell you how hard it was staying open through that. So Brandy's tired. She really, really just pushed herself too far. After I saw, for me, my own, the help that came to me by taking this time off, I basically decided to give her once a month an extra 3 days of mental health off every month. And her thing is she has to completely disconnect from work, completely disconnect. So I think it's important for us to see the signs, because with her, it manifested a little bit differently. With her, it manifested in anger. She started to become very resentful and angry. So some of you might be in that boat where at this point you hate your center. You might hate your center, right? You might be resentful of the parents. You even become resentful of the children. And you're at that point where when you get there, you just don't want to do it anymore, right? And you might be questioning, is this really what I was meant to do? And that's okay. Don't ever beat yourself up for how you feel, you guys. But what you do need to do is listen to how you feel. You really do need to touch and tune in to how you're feeling and figure out a better way. If something isn't working for you now, then it needs to change. It needs to change, right? You deserve to have a happy, fulfilled life. Every single one of us deserve to wake up excited to go to work this morning. And it is a choice. It really is. It's a choice. You can decide to love your life again. And a lot of times your job can make you hate your life. It can make you dread waking up in the mornings. If you wake up dreading your day, then that is not okay. That is not the way to live a life, right? And I can tell you, this is something that's just so near and dear to me after losing my husband, because work to him was so important. It was so important. But now that he's gone, I really questioned, like, so much of what we thought was important wasn't important. It didn't matter. Having joy is important. And we are in the best field in the world, you guys. You can still love this job. You can still find that joy. But you have to put things in place to stop allowing your joy to be stolen from you. Katie, you were hospitalized in January. Oh, let's see. Yeah, I get it. Life is hard for us. It is just hard. And I can tell you just from my own personal experience, you guys, what it can do to you by overworking is horrific. So the fear that you have over letting go and really starting to delegate and put these things into place feels big. But I really want to challenge you this weekend to, even if you journal and get some paper out and really just ask yourself, or go for a walk or whatever it is, some quiet alone time, right? I don't care if it's in the bathroom, if that's the only time you get to yourself. But I want you to ask yourself the question, is the pain that I'm avoiding right now by not dealing with these hard situations really worth the pain of living like this for the rest of my life or for the rest of my career? Is it worth losing my career because I can only sustain this for so long? Many of you are at the point where you can only sustain this for so long. And what will end up happening is you'll leave the field. You'll leave ECE because you won't be able to take it anymore. You might leave ECE and go do something simple like work in a warehouse, but it'll be better than the stress and the pain that you feel right now. It'll actually feel better to you to go sometimes you guys, it might feel better to you to go work at McDonald's, right? Go manage a McDonald's and you can probably make as much. But I don't want you to get to that point, and it doesn't have to be that way. Honestly, as ECE leaders, even if you have a college degree, they don't teach us the fundamentals on running a business. And that's what we need. We need the fundamentals on just how to run a business, how to do a hard conversation so that people are held accountable, right? How to really enrich and coach our staff to become wonderful and great, how to actually even have policies on attendance, and then make our staff follow through with them. There's just so many things that you can do, how to control gossip in your centers and just squash it, how to make sure your parents are paying their bills. When I first was really struggling, what really opened my eyes to how awful I was with money was I wrote $16,000 off in 1 year in parent bad debt. I had let that many parents in without paying me, and that's not fair. The other thing I want to speak to that was alluded to a little bit in the beginning of this was your pay. As owners and directors, you deserve to make a good living. It is not okay that you can go manage a McDonald's and make more money. That is not okay. For some reason in our society, the message has been sent that if you're an owner or a director of a childcare center, you don't deserve to make money, especially owners. People label us as greedy. They label us as like, oh my gosh, how could you do that? How could you make so much money? First of all, we don't make so much money. Secondly, we deserve it. We work our butts off for our centers, don't we? And we deserve to make money. Is there any other industry in this world that you're going to become an owner of and people don't expect you to make money? Is there any other industry that you're villainized for making money? But in early childhood education, for some reason, we do. We villainize our people for making money, and that is just not okay. It's not okay. So owners, I want to give you permission to make money. Stop sacrificing your own paycheck for everybody else. You deserve it. You've worked hard. You put your blood, sweat, and tears, and nobody goes into business to not make money, right? So it's okay to give yourself a paycheck too. It is okay. I mean, so many of us, a lot of times, they just don't. So going back to, we own a fitness studio, and the thought is the same for us in that industry. Yeah, I've noticed that with the fitness. I have good friends who own a fitness industry, a fitness studio too. And, you know, we know bar owners make and restaurant, right? It's funny because the restaurant owners really don't make money, but everybody expects them to. But fitness, I've noticed that as well, where people like, I don't know what it is about the service industry like that, but people almost are resentful when you make money. That's ridiculous. I mean, if you're paid to run a business, you know you're going to get a paycheck. Nobody questions the fact that a manager of a company makes money, right? Nobody even questions the fact that a director of a childcare center makes money. So why do we question what our owners make? How does that make any sense? It makes no sense at all. And then we start feeling guilt over it. And that's the other thing that happens is we start feeling guilty because we're making money, and that is not okay. It is not okay. So for those of you who need to hear this right now, I release you from the guilt as an owner of making money. It's okay. You deserve it. And don't let anyone make you feel any other way. So in the workbook, question number 1 is going to be, how will you implement your org chart? Well, what I would suggest is having a staff meeting. You really want to get together with your staff and just explain to them the why. And earlier this week, I spoke to you guys about the why, about explaining to them how you just cannot do it all. And you need to see the whole center as a whole, right? And really just be ready to enforce it. Have it ready. The other thing I would encourage you to do is get a date on the calendar right now. Even if the date is for October 20th, I just pulled that randomly. Even if it's for November 1st, I don't care. Put a date on the calendar right now and assign that date as a staff meeting to your staff, because that will force you to do the work. Then you have to have the presentation done by then you have to implement it by then. So make sure you do it. How are you going to share what you've learned? You're basically going to kind of do exactly what we did here, right? And what I would really encourage you guys to do too is to get in that community, get in community, because remember, you are the 5 people that you spend the most time around. And if you want to be able to keep this kind of momentum going that we've had this week, that feeling of just excitement, and for a lot of you, you have felt that feeling of relief, right? That, oh my gosh, there is an answer. I don't have to be everything. I don't have to do everything. If you have felt that, well, one of my biggest concerns for you is next week you're going to go back to your normal life, and the week after. And as this training series gets more distant and more distant and more distant, you're going to go right back into where you were on Monday when we started, right back to that feeling of desperation that you had that had you sign up and commit to taking this webinar, right? So what I really would suggest is get into our community. Join us so we can help you keep this going. These are the kind of things we do every single week. Every week we meet like this so that you can change and you're around those types of people that have leveled up and that are different now. And so this isn't just a one and done thing. So that you don't go back into that feeling of desperation, and we can help get you through and get all this implemented. Kayla is here with us today, and she's actually one of my members. And I want her to talk to you guys a little bit about how things changed for her when she joined us at Childcare Business Professionals, and how being a part of our community has kept that growth mindset and has kept her going. Kayla, if you could come off, there you go.
Hello. I feel it has definitely helped me tremendously in a lot of different aspects. I am an in-home provider that's transitioning into a center, and I was kind of just lost as far as how do I take everything to the next level. With all the mastermind classes that we've done, I've learned so much as far as things that I never even thought of that I'm grateful I can really have an outlook on to put into place once I officially open doors, steps that I did not know that needed to be taken. I love our community. We're a very amazing community of strong women that we can come together and really play off each other's ideas, or when we're having problems, we find answers very promptly. I feel a lot more confident in this journey, especially having just the team to help guide. I can't even really explain it. So it just helps so much. I feel a lot more confident in the moves that I'm making, the things I'm putting into place. I'm just really struggling with the time management skills and juggling everything on my own right now. And I look forward to opening a center to where I can pass off some of my hats, because right now with it solely being just me, it's really hard to just get everything, the momentum going.
And I'll mention for Kayla, I will also mention that she's also taking college classes, and you're doing your CDA as well, right?
Yes, I'm taking college classes. I'm a borderline full-time student, and then I'm obtaining my CDA as well. I am contacting childcare owners in regards to different buildings, and I'm going after my SBA loan and in the process of selling our house and trying to pack up our home. So it's been a juggling act, definitely.
Yes, for sure. And you've definitely stepped up. So do you think that we've helped you to keep focused on that leveling up throughout the journey and some of the stress?
Yes, most definitely. And I love how as we kind of talked about before, as far as you always want to level up, you always want to be around the people who are going to help you level up. And I feel with our community in general, we're all in different places in life, but we're all leveling up together, and it's continued growth. So I feel in a lot of situations, like you've said with your coaches, you reach a certain level and then you want to go on to the next one. But I feel with us, we are continuously leveling up together to where there's really no cap limit. And that's nice to have, because I feel when you are just in these tight-knit little, who you have around you, especially when they're not in the same field as you outgrow so many people within your path, or they just don't understand. And it sadly, it has an expiration date, because you're not leveling up together. But I feel with this, we're leveling up together, and it's just continued growth. And I love it. I love the growing process.
Yeah, and I totally agree. We do level up together, and we're just that constantly in that phase of mind. And that's why it's so important to really just surround yourself with those people that are like in that same mindset, that they too want to level up as a person. They want a better quality of life, right? When I hear about the Great Resignation and everything that's going on and how hard it is to hire and all this stuff, it kind of just, honestly, you guys, it makes me laugh, because I think it's a wonderful thing. I actually think the Great Resignation is a wonderful thing, because people are demanding more out of their lives. And I think that speaks a lot to what Kayla just said, that a lot of the people in our lives are still stuck in that old place that we don't want to be in anymore. And if you're stuck in overwhelm, you don't want to be there anymore. You're done. You don't want to be in that place. So that's why it's so important to surround yourself with people who also don't want to be in that place, who are done and who are ready to level up themselves, right? And that's why it's important. And sometimes in our surroundings, those people just aren't available. The mentors aren't there. Sometimes there aren't other ECE leaders because competition gets hard, and it's really hard. I mean, if you're like Tiffany, where you're in an amazing community where the competition really helps and gets together, that's wonderful, but most of us aren't. So that's part of the other reason I created the space in childcare business professionals, because we can help lift each other up all the time. And like Kayla said, level up together. So if you haven't joined us yet, I really encourage you to join CCPP. Today's our last session. We are going to be doing a replay tomorrow. And I will, of course, have Mindset Monday on Monday. I always do Mindset Monday for you guys. But I am going to do one more promotion. I know the free summit ticket opportunity is over now since we started. So welcome to those of you guys. And I am so excited for those of you guys who will be at the summit. That's pretty awesome. But for those of you who didn't quite get that opportunity, I am going to do another opportunity for you. What I'm willing to offer is a buy one, get one free ticket. I can't give any more free tickets away. I'm sorry, like completely free, but I can do buy one, get one frees. So if any of you have a friend who's willing to go with you, and maybe you can split the ticket if you want to bring your spouse, we will be doing buy one, get one free for anybody who joins the summit up until Monday at 9 p.m. Pacific time. Okay, so Monday at 9 p.m. my time, so that's midnight East Coast, because we really do want to see you guys. I want to see you there. I really, really do. And I want to see you in the mastermind next week. I don't want this to be a one and done thing. I told you guys in the beginning of this week, whenever I do these programs, I don't want to waste your time. I really, really want to see it going. I want to see you keep it up, keep it going, keep this momentum, keep the relief, and find that relief in your life again. You don't have to want to look for a new job. You don't want to have to sell your center because you just can't do this anymore. And you don't have to feel that way, and you don't have to be alone. So reach out to one of my team members. If you're like me and you feel like you were an island, I mean, that's literally, I felt so alone. Just that loneliness was so overwhelming, then reach out to the team. We want to be here for you. Like I told you guys, this is a calling for me. It's beyond just a job. This is what God has called me to do. So some of you might be here because God called you here too. He might have just said, it's time. You don't have to do this alone anymore. And you don't have to buy into that rat race. Our society, I mean, gosh, you just have to scroll through Instagram or TikTok and it's just one person or the other. You got to do the grind, right? I did a podcast episode a couple weeks ago that's about, is beast mode really worth it? Is being in beast mode? I thought it was, and I used to live in beast mode, but I don't anymore because I know it's not. Compromising your quality of life is not worth it. And it doesn't have to happen. You don't have to do it. And I unfortunately had to learn that the wrong way. So let us help you really correct and really just course correct, because if something's not working, we need to fix it, right? So let us help you course correct. Let us help you get your life back. Let us help you get your center back. And also, you guys are going to be amazed at how suddenly it becomes more successful. It blows my mind. I was there. My center door used to be a revolving, it felt like it was a revolving door of families and teachers. I couldn't retain staff and I couldn't retain families. And once I just I let it go and decided, you know what, I'm just going to do what's best for the kids, what's best for my family, and what's best for my staff. And I really just started letting go of all the control and the desperation. Everything started to change. Everything changed. When you go, it really becomes your mindset. Are you coming from a place of abundance or scarcity? Are you so afraid to let a teacher go because there's no one else to replace them? So you put up with toxicity and you put up with the stress. It's not really real. Kelly, God clearly called me. You crossed my Facebook feed and I didn't even research you before signing up. I'm new director 1 year and yet overwhelmed. I love that, Kelly. Concrete things. Let's see, the place and work. I need my glasses. I can barely see. Vision and mission, small nonprofit. Yeah, absolutely. And Kelly, I can tell you, everybody in my team members and so many of our members, God has basically brought me to their path. And I'll tell you a quick testimony before we end. But before I did this series, God's really been speaking to me a lot lately, a lot. And one of the biggest messages I've gotten in the last few weeks is one day I was really just struggling with some things. And God basically told me that I have been so focused on what I'm walking into every day that I forget who I'm walking with, right? And think of how powerful that is. We forget who we're actually walking with, and we always focus on what we're walking into. And during that conversation that I had with him, he also basically pointed out to me that I'm not the boss. I walk into my businesses every day and I am stressed out of my mind because I don't know what to do. And Kelly, I get the sense you're in the same position, right? But God basically told me one day, stop. You're not the CEO, I am. I have already got it taken care of. Just listen to me. Just stop and listen. And I realized that I was treating God like he was a silent partner in my business. I wasn't treating him like he was my boss, like he was the CEO. So now, whenever I'm doing anything, I've stopped the frenzy of over planning, of just trying to be in control, trying to fix everything. And that's me. Like, it's like, oh my gosh, this person's in trouble. I got to go save them. I got to go fix it. This situation is happening. I got to go fix it. Right. And now what I do instead is I just pray like, okay, God, you're the boss, not me. You tell me what needs to be done. I'm your employee. I'm going to do the work that you set me out to do. And when I had that paradigm shift, it released so much anxiety for me. When I finally realized that I am not the boss, he is. This is not my company, it's his. He's not just a silent partner who I just report, turn in my reports to tell him how he's doing. He is the boss. I get my instruction from him. When I really had an understanding of that, you would be amazed how much anxiety was lifted off my shoulders. because now it's not on me. It's not on me. The end result isn't on me, it's on him. And isn't it amazing when we take that end result and it's no longer our result, but his result? It's not so stressful anymore, you know? So that's one of the things, you guys, for those of you who are faith-based, most of my teaching is business-based, but when you do need some faith-based counsel, I'm here for that too. God is not always a logical business person, and a lot of business logic, if you're faith-based, isn't always worldly logic, but I'm definitely willing to lean into that too, if that's what you need at that time. So does anyone have any final questions before we wrap it up? How is Mandy's? So we know that Mandy, I'm so glad you asked. We were praying for her right before you guys jumped on. We got on a little bit beforehand to pray for her and been just praying for her all day. We know that she has reached out to her mom, but we have not heard anything else from her. So if everybody would keep her in their prayers, we're just praying that God's supernatural love will just wrap her in his warmth and kindness, and she'll know that she's being thought about and taken care of. But we have not been able to hear from Mandy yet. So if any of you guys, again, we're here to help. It was something I really had to pray a lot about like, do we even keep going on? But God told me, yes, I brought you the people here today that need to hear from you. And so, yes, you need to go serve them, because my boss told me I got to serve. So, yeah, just keep her in her prayers. I have ultimate faith in the fact that the God of miracles is over her right now, and that he is protecting her and hopefully calming her mind and her spirit. So if you guys can continue to pray for her, that would be wonderful.
And then I just wanted to add something. If Mandy is your concierge, if you continue to email the number that she texts you from or emails you from, I am checking those and I am responding. So I'm trying to get to everybody. So if you keep responding to that, I will make sure to take care of you so that when she comes back, you're here for her. So I just want you to know, keep messaging that same number, and then I will jump in there and answer. So.
Yep. Perfect. And then before we sign off, I almost forgot, word of the day today is free. The word of the day today is free. And when you turn that into us, you will get the entire packet that we are giving you guys from this week. You will be getting all of those emailed out to you. And bear with us, with Mandy being gone, it might take us a little bit longer to get all of those out, but we will get those out to you. And even if you're sending them, like Christina just said, to Mandy, that's fine. I know she's going to be excited to get back to work. She loves her job. So I'm sure, and knowing that if you guys only knew how she is, it's probably killing her that she can't be here for this right now. But we hope you guys really enjoyed it. Make sure if you can continue to really focus on the Facebook group. We're going to replay all of this in the Facebook group this week. So if there's anything you want to rewatch that you've missed, you can definitely catch up on Facebook. But that is all we have for you guys today. So we are going to sign off, and hopefully we will see you Monday for Mindset Monday. Do you want to go over your availability, Christina?
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that. So tomorrow we're going to be running all 5 replays throughout the day. So you should be able to watch from 1 to 5. If you miss anything, they will be continuous throughout the day. Sunday, we do close on Sunday, but that's our day of rest. And if you send any messages on Sunday, we will get back to you first thing Monday morning. Monday morning, like Evelyn said, we have Monday Mindset, which we would love for you to be a part of. And then we will be in touch with you throughout the weekend and all of Monday. And we will be, closing the workshop on Monday evening. Well, what time do we say, Evelyn? Midnight Pacific Standard Time? Yeah,
it's actually going to be 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. So that's when everything, and Mindset Mondays is every Monday morning at 9 a.m. and I stream live everywhere. My personal Facebook, our Facebook group, and YouTube. So you can find it on any of those platforms Monday morning.
Yes. So any questions you have, Lisa's here, I'm here, Evelyn's here. If you guys want to jump on a call with any of us, we're here to help you, here to answer all your questions. And you do have until Monday at 12
9 p.m.
o'clock Eastern.
Pacific time. Yes.
Yeah, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So we are here to answer any questions. If you want to jump on a call, we're here. We'd love to chat with you.
Bye, guys. See you Monday, Heidi.
Bye.
Bye.